Heartbreak at WTA Finals. Shocking. Defeat to world number 5 Jessica. Pegula with 17 double faults. The night, sky over Riyadh shimmer like scattered diamonds, but inside the Kingdom Arena, the lights burn brighter than the stars. Tennis fans from around the globe packed the stadium, their eyes fixed on the court where two of America's finest stood poised for battle. Jessica, Pegula, calm, experienced, composed, stood on one baseline. Across from her, Coco Gauff, the fiery sensation, the crowd favorite, the unstoppable force, bounced on her toes, her energy radiating. Through the arena, no one could predict what was about to happen. No one could foresee the heartbreak, but this night would become unforgettable, not for its beauty but for its shock. For the 17 double faults that shattered a dream, a heavy crown. Coco Gauff came into the match wearing the invisible crown of expectation. She was a defending champion, the darling of American tennis, the athlete who carried hope on her shoulders like a familiar backpack. But tonight, something felt different. Her warm-up was off. Her racket seemed slightly misaligned with the rhythm of her body. Her serve, normally a weapon, looked shaky, hesitant, unsure. Pegula noticed, she always noticed. As they walked to their chairs after warm-up, Pegula gave a small nod, calm, respectful, silent. Gauff tried to return the gesture, but felt her stomach tighten. The pressure of the WTA Finals wasn't new to her, but tonight it felt heavier, too heavy. The first serve. Cracks. Gauff served first. The ball flew up. Her racket swung. The ball clipped the net and dropped. A double fault. The crowd murmured, confused. She tried. Again. Another double fault. Pegula looked surprised, but only for a moment. Then she locked in, ready to capitalize. Shake it off, Gauff whispered to herself. But her fingers felt cold, her breath uneven, her heartbeat louder than her thoughts. Pegula broke serve instantly. Pegula's cold precision. Pegula wasn't flashy tonight. She was lethal. Every shot she hit was rooted in strategy. Every placement was calculated to exploit Coco's unraveling serve. She struck forehands with calm aggression, backhands with surgical precision, returns with deadly accuracy. Meanwhile, Gauff's and her storm grew. 2 more double faults, then another and another. The scoreboard read 4-1, and the crowd grew, restless. This wasn't Coco they knew. This wasn't a champion whose silence stadiums with brilliance. This was a shaken young athlete fighting her own shadows. The rising tension at 5-1. Gauff serve again. Her hands trembled. Her eyes narrowed with desperation. She tossed the ball high. Swung. Double. Fault number 7. Gasps erupted. Some fans buried their faces in their hands. Pegula remained unshaken. The set ended. 6-1. But it wasn't score that hurt. It was how Gauff had crumbled under the weight of each failed serve. Coco sat on her bench, towel over her head, breathing hard. Her coach's voice came through the headset. Focus on your feet. Relax your arm. Slow the toss. But nothing could calm the storm inside her. The spiral deepens. The second set began. With hope, Coco opened with a 40-5 lead. She hit 2 powerful winners. The crowd roared, but then double fault. Number 8. Then number 9. The game slipped through her fingers like water. Pegula pounced again, taking the break. With swift precision. She wasn't celebrating. She was simply executing, the way pros do when opportunity opens. But deep down, Pegula felt something unusual. Sympathy. She knew what it was, like to crumble under pressure. She had lived for years. But tonight, she couldn't afford softness. Not when the world was watching. Not when finals Victory was within reach. The heartbreak. Point. At 3-0, Gauff looked drained. Her legs felt heavy. Her confidence fractured. Her once fearless swing reduced to timid motions. Her serve, normally her strongest asset, had become her downfall. Double fault number 12, then number 13. The crowd fell silent. Even Pegula hesitated before, accepting the point as if hoping someone would call a duver a pause. Anything to stop the unraveling. Gauff wiped tears from her eyes. She wasn't hurt. Physically, she was drowning. Emotionally, Pegula walked to her side. After the game, "You're okay," she whispered gently. "Breathe." Those two words landed like a life raft. Coco nodded weakly, but the match had to go on. Pegula closes the door. Pegula returned to her baseline, inhaled deeply, and slipped back into competition mode. She owed it to herself not to let sympathy cloud her focus. Her shots grew sharper, her footwork lighter, her timing flawless. She went up 5-1. Gauff stepped up to serve. Again, haunted by deja vu. The crowd clapped rhythmically, trying to will her through the moment. She tossed the ball. Double fault number 16. A groan spread through the stands. She tried again. Double fault number 17. The 17th. The final one. Pegula looked stunned. The umpire looked heartbroken. The fans looked shattered. Match point. Pegula ended it with a clean backhand winner down the line. 6-1. 6-1. A victory built on consistency, yes, but overshadowed by heartbreak. Tears on the court. Coco stood at the net, wiping her face, trying to pull herself together. Pegula approached not with triumph, but compassion. "Bad days happen," Pegula said softly. "You'll be back." Coco nodded, but her voice cracked. "I let everyone down." Pegula shook her head. "No, you're human. We all are." They hugged. Two warriors, one recovering from heartbreak, the other carrying emotional weight of winning against a struggling friend. Press conference pain. Gauff entered the press room with swollen eyes. Flashes clicked. Microphones pointed at her like weapons. "What happened with your serve? Were you injured? Is this the most painful loss of your career?" Coco stared at the table. "It wasn't my day," she whispered. "I tried. I really did." She breathed shakily. "I'll learn from it. I'll grow from it. And I'll come back stronger." She forced a brief smile, then left the stage with trembling shoulders. Pegula spoke next. "Coco is an incredible champion," she said firmly. "She had a tough night, but we all have tough nights. Tonight doesn't define her. It never will." Her tone was protective, loyal, a reminder that rivalry doesn't erase respect. Lessons in the darkness. That night, Coco returned to her hotel room alone. She dropped her racket bag on the floor, sank into a chair, and stared at her trembling hands. She replayed the double faults, all 17, one by one. The pressure, the doubt, the expectations. Then she closed her eyes and inhaled. This wasn't the end of her story. This was the beginning of a new chapter. Her heartbreak wasn't a failure. It was fuel. Fuel to rebuild. Fuel to rise again. Outside the city, lights of Riyadh glowed like reminders. Even the brightest stars flickered before. Shining again. Final reflection. A night tennis will never forget. The WTA Finals. Witnessed many battles, but none like this. A night where victory and heartbreak collided, where precision defeated passion, where 17 double faults told the story of emotional pressure. Stronger than any opponent across a net, Jessica Pegula walked away to victor. Calm, composed, deserving. Coco Gauff walked away wounded, but wiser, hungrier, stronger for tomorrow, because champions are not defined by the nights they dominate, but by the nights they survive. And Coco Gauff would survive. This, she would rise and the world would be watching. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget